Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, guys. How's
Alaikum
everything going?
salam.
I think I did that right, as you told me to. Alhamdulillah, the intro.
So it was more like Salaam alaikum everyone, welcome to Dawah Hour. But
I was gonna get there. I'm getting there. We're warming up, inshallah. So, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to Dawah Hour. We are here today again. Walaikum salam, Zara. So we got questions and comments coming in already, mashallah. So we're here with brother Sahel, brother Nadeem Ashraf, and brother Johnny is going to be joining us very, very soon, inshallah. And on today's show, we're going to be discussing, and we're going to be starting to kick off sort of giving some practical tips on how to give dawah as well. And we're going to be starting off with initiation and initiation meaning how do we start conversations? How do we get into a dawah conversation?
Actually, can I contradict you there, bro?
No, you can't yet. No, I'm the host. Let me finish my point.
No.
So, I'm joking. I'm joking.
I think the best thing is we talk about characteristics today and tomorrow in detail, because this is one of those things that a lot of du'at, a lot of people, they miss out on. Initiation is a huge topic. We can cover it properly next weekend. That's my suggestion, bro.
Did I say we're going to be doing characteristics today?
Yeah, yes, you did, bro. Anyway,
No,
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah, Sister Noura Abdul Qadir, Sister Fareen Khan. Can I ask everyone to share this link with all their contacts on Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere, everywhere, inshallah. Let's get everyone involved, inshallah. It's going to be a good discussion. This is a good chance to speak to brother Imran Hussain. We're talking, what, 25 years of experience? No. How many years, bro? 9, 10 years, mashallah? He's gone quiet on me.
I'm impressed by the intro, mashallah. So yeah,
you can't get over it. Go on.
8-9 years.
Yeah.
8-9 years.
8-9 years, brother. This is a huge opportunity to ask some questions, inshallah, from brother Imran. And the other thing is, bro, just a quick point before we get in the conversation. The topic is that you got 9 years experience, mashallah, Allahumma barik. But you've also been around other du'at as well, who got experience, very sincere, very hardworking industrious du'at as well, which is a privilege, I think, for you as well, mashallah, with Ayera and other brothers in the field. So a lot of experience, inshallah.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. So it's and that's the case across the board as well. It's not only just me, subhanallah. All of us here have been blessed with the ability to spend time with really experienced brothers and learn from really experienced brothers. And we've made our mistakes, we've learned our lessons, and that's what we're trying to share. Something of that which may benefit everyone that's watching these streams too, inshallah. So yeah, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. I like your headset, bro. You've moved up in the world, mashallah. You got nice.
No, I haven't. I've actually borrowed this of someone else's.
Oh, you borrowed it? Oh, okay. Because all the other shows, had that, but for Newcastle FM, you made an effort, mashallah. Very good.
We have to make sure that the audio is crisp, inshallah, and as clear as possible.
Alhamdulillah. So what I want to do, inshallah, if with your permission, brother Imran, is from my end, inshallah, because we're doing a lot of shows. I am, and I know you are. And what happens is in all these shows, in the mechanics of it, in the sharing of it, and all the mechanics of it, bro, it's we forget the purpose of it, and we forget the ibadah angle. It happens, we're human beings. We're so busy. Even Ramadan, we're supposed to be locked down, and especially Ramadan, I thought I can relax and take my time and work on personal ibadah, but still there's all these shows and everything's online now. So what happens is, and this is absolutely a reminder for myself and everyone, when it's like a cliche, reminder for myself and everyone, but this is absolutely for myself, because we're there giving shows that sincerity, ikhlas, which is not only important in the dawah, when you're calling people to Allah, but in everything we do. It's the basis of our deen, subhanAllah. So there's a hadith I want to start off with, inshallah, which says in Sahih Muslim, which the Prophet ﷺ said that verily Allah does not look at your wealth or beauty, rather He looks at your hearts and actions. And that's in Muslim, subhanAllah. And there's another, I love my quotes from the Salaf, and one of the giants of our ummah, Sufyan al-Thawri, he said a very, very simple, very powerful statement, that safety lies in not wanting to be known. And you know what? When I've used this with a lot of brothers on YouTube and producing content and pages, they can't get it, because social media and the industry of social media is telling you, follow me, subscribe to me, mine's the best channel, forget others. It's that kind of vibe going on. Whereas Sufyan al-Thawri, one of the wisest scholars of our time, one of the early Salaf, he says safety is in not being known, safety in the akhirah. So sincerity, ikhlas is something we need to really think about. Whether you're producing videos like Brother Imran and other brothers on YouTube, you're like a YouTuber, whether it's writing blogs, whether it's engaging dawah on a one-to-one basis, whether it's when the lockdown is over, you're going to give street dawah. You have to do some reflection and think why you're doing it. You got to keep doing it. Keep doing it. It may be tedious, but keep thinking, why am I doing this? Ikhlas, sincerity, it's only for the pleasure of Allah. I just want to put that out there, inshallah, for everyone to start on that discussion, inshallah.
Imran bhai?
Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. No. Absolutely agreed, bro. I think even before, yeah, I'm mesmerized, mashallah, by your just the passion and drive you have today, bro. In the middle of the fast, mashallah. I've never seen you so energetic, mashallah. May Allah bless you, bro. May Allah increase you. But yeah. So look.
And you, bro.
So look, you're absolutely right. I think before we even get to initiation, I think we're jumping the gun there as well. Let's start with motives. Why are we doing what we're doing? What's the point? What's the objective behind this? And sincerity is the bedrock of anything we do. So it's very important to, inshallah, keep that in mind. And especially when it comes to the dawah, like you said, it's one of those things where you're public facing. You're always going to be in front of people, whether you do it on a street level, whether you do it, online or writing, whatever you're doing, it's always going to be public facing, meaning that someone's going to be watching you, someone's going to be aware of you. That could be one person, that could be 10 people, that could be 10,000 people. So to stay on top of his sincerity is key, because we know if you're not doing the sincerity for the sake of Allah, then you're digging a hole for yourself, essentially.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, bro. And before I come ask you a question, take some comments, brother. We've got Brother Harun Holmes, mashallah, of the very active, very busy Nottingham Islam, mashallah. Really good to see you, mashallah. 3 beloved brothers to me. Assalamu alaikum. Oh yeah, there's a third.
Brother Harun, you're a beloved brother to us as well. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Harun is like a one-man army, mashallah.
I've only recently met Harun, and I've been in contact with Harun for a while, but face to face, I only had a recently I was able to actually go face to face and meet him. Bro, honestly, subhanallah, I know I don't like to, I hope he's not even listening, because you don't want to cut people's neck in that sense and praise him. But subhanallah, you meet brothers like that who have got the zeal for the dawah, and really, they've made it their lives, alhamdulillah, and it's an amazing thing to see, alhamdulillah.
When you went to see him, I was in Nottingham a few hours before you went to see him.
Yeah, that's right, you were. I heard you.
What were you doing in Nottingham that day, bro?
Bro, I just did a little nasiha and some dawah, alhamdulillah, a few hours, alhamdulillah. So we've also got, mashallah, all the way from Holland. I'm not sure where in Holland. Maybe you can tell us. It's
Sufyan.
Sufyan Lemkadim. I always try and pronounce the name.
Yeah, Brother Sufyan, mashallah, just like Brother Harun, he's a veteran in the dawah, mashallah. He's been just grinding at the grassroots in Netherlands. May Allah bless him. Brother Sufyan is one of the individuals that came to the advanced training we did at IRA a few years ago. And I went to see him recently in Netherlands. We were in Netherlands too. And the stuff they're doing on the ground is amazing. May Allah bless them. May Allah increase them, his team. And, there's so much we can learn from them as well, mashallah. Amazing brothers.
Wa alaikum salam to Brother Muhammad Yunus from Kashmir. He's very active in apologetics. He likes to defend Islam very strongly. And I'm glad he's here, because inshallah, hopefully he can take on the seer, because when it comes to defending Islam, and especially those Christian missionaries and atheists who are very anti-Islamic, they got this vibe going, rhetoric. What happens is that our brothers, Muslim brothers, in their passion and zeal and izzah for Islam, they defend Islam, but then they lose some of the characteristics, bro. Right? So I'm really happy that Muhammad Yunus is here, and I hope he stays for the whole show. And maybe he's some nasiyah, and he can add this to his armor. This nasiyah, which we're going to discuss, I hope you add it to your armor, not like, oh look, they're telling me off, they're telling me what to do. No, it's not a telling off. It's nasiha, so we can make you into a great da'i, so you get the reward, inshallah. And the dawah itself is great. So, bro,
guys, I think we can add some interaction with these guys, with the audience. Do you want to throw a question out to them? I was thinking something like, how do you stay sincere in the dawah or in all of your acts of worship? Maybe they can share their thoughts as well and help others as well. Should we put that question out there?
Yeah, definitely. Let's put that out there.
All right.
That's a good idea.
All right.
Nadeem doesn't seem.
Unless you have another question, Nadeem,
Nadeem had a lot to say today, bro. I think he's interfering with his plans.
No, but I think sincerity is the first and foremost thing.
We can talk about sincerity all day long, bro. All day long, today, tomorrow.
Honestly, I think, if I'm being really honest, when it comes to the dawah, when it comes to ibadah, when it comes to just in general, this is the hardest thing.
This is it.
I honestly think this is the hardest thing, because and the thing is, it's because look, as we know, there's so many hadith, there's so many narration that talk about your sincerity, your niyyah, your intention, your ikhlas. And if your intentions are all wrong, then your whole deeds are just forgotten. They're lost. Yeah. So if your actions are judged by your intention, and if you're not doing it for the sake of Allah, then those deeds are they're lost, right?
Yeah.
But there's such it's such a serious matter that the Prophet ﷺ talked about the first three people on the day of judgment who are going to be tested. These three individuals who, like the one who was the martyr for the sake of Allah, who died for the sake of Allah, died in the path of Allah, who was someone who was knowledgeable, someone who was who gave in charity for the sake of Allah. Yet, when Allah asks them about the favors He gave them and what they did with them, they said, "Yeah, I did it for your sake." But Allah says, "You lied. You didn't do it for me. You did it for fame. You did it to be called knowledgeable. You did it to be called brave. You did it to be called generous, and that's what you were called." And then Allah will throw them in the hellfire. And the scary thing about that is that if you look at these three types of individuals, they're not small in Islam. They're actually high. They're actually people of high status in Islam. And so when you've got people of high status, and that's what's going to happen to them, all because of their intention. So sincerity is definitely a key 100%, part.
Bro. I want to hear from if Haroon is online still. Akhi Haroon Holmes. So what do you any suggestions? What do you do? Because mashallah, you're a very hardworking brother, and you got Nottingham Islam and very active. So what do you do, bro, to keep your intentions intact? Akhi Sufyan, what do you brothers in Holland do? Maybe you got some tips for us, maybe some ideas, maybe something you want to share. So do share your ideas. Afnan Ahmed says, wa alaikum salam. Afnan Ahmed, what about you? The question is to you as well. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, sister Fatima Waheed. So while we're getting in the comments, Imran, so mashallah, look, I'm going to ask you a question, yeah? You ready, yeah? Look, mashallah, you've got a very successful channel, alhamdulillah, Allahumma barak. And mashallah, your subscriptions are increasing, and likes and videos, you've been very active in Ramadan. So is there any, maybe the word ritual is wrong, but anything you do to not do it for the likes and subscriptions? On the one hand, you have to promote, right? You have to promote your channel so you can get the message out there, so people listen, and the haqq has gone out there, and tips and ideas and how to deal with atheists and etc. That's one, and you don't need to promote it in marketing. But then on the other side is your ikhlas. So what do you do, bro, to counter that, bro? Any ideas, inshallah?
So this is one of the trickiest things to stay on top of. Yeah, be very honest. It's one of those things that evades you as well. Like you think you have it figured out, but then when you think about it again, then you question yourself again, because you really have it figured out. And it's one of those things you can't really fully grasp or put your hands on and say, look, I've got it. Just like, for example, if you were to learn, I don't know, a certain Dawah technique, once you get it, right? It's there. But with sincerity, it's not like that. The more you chase it, the more you feel it leaves you behind, right? So the best things that I've noticed that have worked practically, that I've felt of benefit, is the most fundamental thing, bro, without getting technical, is your relationship with Allah is the biggest factor. Like, you can't be sincere towards someone, and you can't be honest with someone that you're not close with, that you don't recognize, that your heart's not attached to, that you're not there with. So and especially when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's one thing to, okay, Allah exists, I'm Muslim, but it's another thing, okay, where is your iman? How close are you to Allah? The closer the more you struggle to be closer to Allah, the more it would help you, I believe, with your levels of sincerity, because things become clearer. Not that it's going to help. No, I'm not saying you'll have a perfect equation. It doesn't work like that, but that will really help. Another thing is to really remind yourself of, I guess, what you are and who you are, because that's another thing we tend to forget. So we tend to forget Allah and our relationship with Him, and we tend to forget who we are. We easily delude ourselves into thinking that we're more than what we are. We forget where we come from. We forget where we're going. We seem to remember where we are right now in the present moment, right? And we lose sight. We forget that we come from dirt, literally, right? Allah says in the Quran, خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِن نُطْفَةٍ فَإِذَا هُوَ خَصِيمٌ مُبِينٌ, that He created us from a nutfa, a drop of dirty, despised fluid. Literally, and if we were to, anyone that's on the live stream right now, if you were to rewind the tape back 30, 40, 50 years, every single one of us would just shrink down into a little baby, and into a sort of clot of blood and then into a drop of dirty liquid. Yeah, that's our reality. No atheist, no human on the face of this earth can deny this reality. So remind yourself of that, and remind yourself of where you're going. That we're going to end up under the ground. We're going to become a part of the earth, literally, and that is another thing you can't deny, right? So where we come from and where we're going are two facts which are more clear than pretty much anything else we believe in life, right? That we believe in from a worldly perspective. So, and we're literally sandwiched between these two states.
Yeah.
Right. And for some reason, we have found a way of deluding ourselves to think we're something special. That we're worth something in the grand scheme of things, right? So when you really put things into perspective, it reminds you of what you are, and it brings humility. And humility, like we've always said, humility is the key to guidance, and humility is something that's precious to us human beings. And arrogance is the opposite.
And so delusion as well, bro. Delusion. There's this English word, delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. Somebody likes, oh, Imran bhai, oh, this bhai, and then you start.
Bro, it can happen on many levels. Yeah, if you think delusions of grandeur, it doesn't have to be like something where you're really gone off a track, right? It could be it could be on a very simple level as well. Like you said, video, couple hundred likes, and it starts getting to you. Yeah. So you have to continuously remind yourself of who you are and what you are and who Allah is, and your relationship with Allah you have to work on. If you do these couple of things, this will really sort of shift your abilities to do things for the right reason. The more you remind yourself of the hereafter, the reality of Jannah and Jahannam, the fire of hell, paradise, the more you remind yourself of these realities, the easier it's going to be for you to sort of do things for the right reason.
And also some which I've learned from, brothers who I've learned from and scholars and mentors that, and I'm not saying this is what I'm doing, absolutely not, no way, but something that we should be working on even more involved in dawah when conveying is your ibadah should be increasing. So we're talking, just to name, tahajjud should be a part of your diet, right? It should be a way of life for you. And the fasting other than Ramadan and the afkar for protection, these things have to increase. And a lot of brothers and sisters forget, and they call it basics. I just don't like the basics. This basics makes it really like it's very small and it's not that important. No, this is a bread and butter. If you haven't got that on lockdown, or if you're at least not working on it, working towards it. Now, I need to work on my tahajjud. I need to work on my afkar. I need to work on my remembrance of Allah and recitation.
Bro, arrogance is a barrier. Arrogance is a barrier, and arrogance can manifest itself in many ways, subtly as well, bro. Like even these are basics. Yeah. I'm Muslim 7 years now practicing. I don't need to worry about these anymore. I don't want to worry about these anymore. I've got them down.
I've gone past that.
That's a subtle type of arrogance as well. Yeah. Of where you've elevated yourself in a certain way. So you have to be very careful of these things. And it's hard to fight, bro. It's hard to fight. That's what you have to just make dua to Allah that He removes it.
So we got some comments, bro. We got Sister Noura Abdul Qadir. She's saying, always evoke the end that you want to get in order to reach it. So evoke always while you're doing this. Okay, do you understand? Do you get that?
Yeah. So if you're doing it for the pleasure of Allah, have that as your end goal. Remind yourself of that. Make it real for you. Think it through. If you're doing it for Jannah, then remember Jannah. I think that's what she means. So have the end goal clear in your mind, because then you would work towards that and for that, basically. So it's a very good, powerful way of doing it. But again, it ties in with the point I was making, that for the end goal to be clear in your mind, you have to develop that, right? Yeah. So Jannah is real. We know it. Okay, we read it in the Quran, but how real is it for us actually? That's something we need to ask. Because if it's not really real, then that goal, that focus you have in that you're focusing towards is not going to be clear. It's going to be cloudy, right? And that's going to make things hard for you. So the more we sort of try to internalize these realities, it'll be much easier to focus on those goals clearly, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. And this theme we got all these dawah shows, today, tomorrow, and the next few weekends. This theme, inshallah, we're going to try and keep bringing it up again, because this, like I said, there's never enough reminders. So I just want to move the topic slightly away, bro. And it's all connected. But look, there's some brothers who are watching, and especially brothers who are online. There's a lot of discussions, a lot of debates. There's debates taking place in Speaker's Corner, for example, and other parts of the world where there's a lot of Christian-Muslim debates. There's a lot of debates with atheists. What I've seen, bro, and because Masha, you're also kind of involved in a debating. So I know that's not your style really, but you've had some conversations. And what happens is, isn't it true that Christians and atheists, they're very good at winding up Muslims? So they'll either attack Islam or they'll say something to you. And what happens is now, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're defending Islam, but soon it like delves, or it kind of reduces to defending yourself. You're actually defending your opinion, your viewpoint, and you're not defending Allah or His Deen. So, because there's a few brothers watching who are involved in apologetics discussion, and they think that you need to be harsh. So there's a few things in there, bro. Harshness in your language, and how do you, from your experience, I'm sure you've been there. How do you counter that ego? Oh, you know what? I want to show this Christian. I want to show this atheist. I want to tell him the time, that kind of thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a very tricky thing. So the first thing is, I would say, is, look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to the Prophet ﷺ, and in the Quran he says, if you were harsh towards your companions, these people, that they would have left you, they would have fled, right? Now this is the Prophet, peace be upon him, being told that if he had adopted certain characteristics, those people would have left him, even the Prophet, right? So another example in Musa alayhi salam, when Musa is being sent to Pharaoh, Allah tells him to be soft and gentle in his speech. Right? If there's ever a person in history that doesn't deserve soft and gentle speech, it was probably Pharaoh, bro. Yeah, it's probably a character like Pharaoh. He deserves the worst type of treatment, you would think, right? But Allah tells Musa alayhi salam to be soft in his approach. Now, why do we find this, right? These are some of the greatest dalils for this, and there's a few things here that we need to take away. Firstly, one lesson we could take from this is, for the truth to enter the heart of someone, you have to realize that the truth isn't free floating, bro. It's not like floating in the air right here. Here it is, and it's going to go to someone. The truth is being conveyed through language, through the mouth, the voice of a human being, and it's entering the heart of another human being. So you are that delivery mechanism, right? You are the delivery mechanism. What you have to remember is, you may have the truth, but the way you conduct yourself, and the way you speak, and the way you share that truth, it will depend on if the person accepts it or rejects it, right? That's what it's gonna boil down to at the end of the day. I'll give you a simple example, bro. If I came to you right now and I said I love you, and I hugged you, nice big hug, would you feel it?
I'm not a touchy-feely kind of guy, but
but would you feel that love?
Yeah, because I know you, innit? Yeah.
Mashallah, look, you're glowing, yeah, alhamdulillah. So look, if I was to, that's like, okay, you just switched it on while I said that, right? Perfect timing. But look, let me give you the opposite scenario. I come to you, I say I love you, but I give you one big slap across the face, breaks your glasses. Would you feel that love?
I'll feel that slap, yeah.
Yeah. Would you really believe I love you?
No, I mean, what kind of love is that?
So the point is, the information, the truth is the same. I love you.
Yeah.
But the way it's been conveyed is in two different ways. I know it's an extreme example, but it gets the point across. What you say is only gonna get through to someone depending on how you say it. You are that delivery mechanism. You have to make sure your characteristics and your conduct and your morals and your language and the way you carry yourself is on point. If it's not, you're not going to do justice to the message, bro. Let me just quickly add to that a little bit, something very important. I really believe this was the reason why Allah told Musa alayhi salam to be soft and gentle in his approach. Because what happens, bro, psychologically, is if you go to someone and you have the truth and you want to give that truth to them, right? Remember, human beings are sensitive, bro. Human beings are sensitive. They're very emotional. If you talk about Tawheed to someone, the oneness of Allah, and you're cracking the whip in the way you're conducting yourself with them, you're talking in a very aggressive way, you're just, really putting them in their place, and you're talking about the oneness of Allah, what's going to happen is, because of your actions and your characteristics, you're going to offend and upset them. They're going to feel a type of emotional pain, right, when you do that. Now, what's going to happen is this. It's very interesting. It's human psychology, bro. That pain they feel, they're going to link that pain to what you're saying, right? So now Tawheed, the truth of Tawheed becomes linked to a painful experience for them, right? A really painful experience.
Misrepresent the whole thing.
So what's going to happen now, bro? Not only is your conversation going to go bad, but say that person comes across the message of Tawheed 3 years later, 4 years later, 5 years later, that pain is going to emerge as well. And they're going to have an aversion to that message now. Not because the message isn't true, but because of what it's tied to, that pain you made them feel, that nasty feeling you made them feel with it. That's something we have to avoid, bro. We have to make sure, we have to remember, when we're talking about Islam, it's the truth, but deliver the truth in the most beautiful way possible. So it enters the hearts and minds of people, so you don't offend people. Very important.
The way I look at that is also, if you're using language like, I want to destroy you, I want to show you how it's done, let me refute you, and your mannerisms and the way you talk, what you're doing is building a wall. So the more all the harshness and your ego style of the dawah is you're building a wall. So no matter how much conclusive proof you give, no matter how much dalil, no matter how much philosophical, evidence you give, it's going to hit the wall. It's not going through. And you've almost like made the hearts are hardened, and it's it's just an ego fest, bro.
The only thing you're gonna get is you're gonna get kick out building the wall, bro. That's what you're gonna get. I built a beautiful wall,
bro. There's a few brothers and sisters of notes from Pakistan here, and in Pakistan, it's not obviously Dawah to non-Muslims, but it's more engaged with liberal and feminist movements and these secular movements. And what's happening also in Pakistan, I'm watching online for a long 2-3 years, is it's become like, I must defend Islam. Defending, because Islam is my way of life, and these guys are attacking it. I want to attack them back. And what's happening is, and this is just my thoughts on it. There's very little of inviting taking place, and more refuting and destroying them. So there is that element. When we discuss with atheists, we are intellectually with warmth telling them about the reality of life and universe, and can it come from nothing. We're asking questions, thought-provoking questions, but we're doing it in a very warm manner, compassionate manner. In Pakistan, for example, and in India and subcontinent, there's a lot of bashing going on from our side, from the Maulvis, against the non-practicing people. So and I like it, when you gave an example, and I'd love for you to give it, about Dawah, because a lot of people subcontinent, they could probably understand this. How you give a Dawah.
But before I do that, I think just touching upon what you said, look, we have to find there is that middle ground. Those things need to be addressed as well. Even when you're engaging on that level, dealing with certain ideologies, etc., do it with a certain level of respect and hikmah and good characteristics.
That's not happening.
Right?
That's not happening.
Yeah, so there's no excuse to adopt bad characteristics in any situation.
Well, that's what's happening. People
there may be situations, bro, where you can be a bit more assertive, a bit more forceful with your points, depending on the context. You may be in a debate, etc. But that's no excuse to adopt bad manners and bad characteristics. There's a fine line between the two, right? So it's not an excuse to jump the wall and go into the bad manners, and the bad characteristics. So keep that in mind. And the other thing is, I think what you mentioned there was very powerful, is to, when you're engaging with such ideologies, use the power of questioning. Get people to question their own ideas and beliefs instead of forcing an idea down, because it's some may relate to this. It's known as the Socratic
method.
The fastest Socratic method. But this is not just based on Socrates' way, which was to ask questions, to get the person to realize the folly of the way by asking them the questions and letting them conclude the way. This was the method of the prophets. Right, the Prophet ﷺ utilized this method. Right, this is the method of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala in the Quran. Chapter 52, verse 35 and 36. Am khuliqu min ghayri shay'in. Were they created by nothing? Am humul khaliqun. Or were they the creators of this? Questions. Ask questions.
Not you idiot, you fool. How did you come to exist? There's none of that terminology. It's just asking questions. Like you said, alhamdulillah, excellent, bro. Just take some comments, bro, and then you carry on, bro. Taslima says, yes, it's especially tricky when we are working groups and also have an audience. So keep your intentions pure. So she's talking about intentions. Afnan Ahmed, this young brother is from, bro, I forgot where you are from. Is it Ohio? I could be, it's Somalia, somewhere, I think near Washington. So mashallah, young brother, he's wants to get involved in Dawah. He's been, we've had some discussions. So he's saying, a long comment, but I'll just paraphrase it quickly. Brother, basically, he makes supplications after Salah. And he makes a dua that, oh Allah, please, my intention that I'm doing this for you, so please don't want Satan to divert my mind or heart. And this is how he stays focused. So excellent, mashallah. Fahila wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Sister Ariba is asking a question, bro. And then before you answer that question, I really want you to get that Dawah example, because it's very beautiful, because I think these guys will relate, inshallah. How to build and absorb this psychology in your personality of not being harsh. I see a lot of da'is who know this, but don't apply it or find it hard.
Yeah, conscious practice. It's like it's the same way we develop taqwa, bro, or we try to develop taqwa of Allah, consciousness of Allah, is being aware, and it's being aware of your. Now that you know this, like, okay, I need to keep an eye on the way I'm engaging. You will do that automatically. If it's a goal, you will automatically be it'll be taking place when you're in a conversation, and you'll pick up on when you're getting angry, agitated, when you may be offending someone. You start picking up on the expressions of the person, how you're making them feel. You'll pick up on subtleties, changes in their, they have their eyes dropped a little bit, has their smile dropped a bit, have they stepped back a little bit. Small things like you'll pick up on naturally. You don't have to be taught this. It's intuitive. But the key is for you to be aware. So the first step is to be aware that this is a potential problem. As soon as you're aware of it, then you'll naturally pick up on these traits, and the best way to develop it is through practice. Carry on the dawah, carry on having the conversations. The more you have, the more you tweak it, and eventually you'll get to the point where in most situations you'll be able to handle it quite well, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. And the example of dawah, bro.
Yeah, so the example of dawah that we give is, look, the word dawah has made its way into other languages, Bengali, Urdu, So, and the way it's made it into these other languages is very interesting. It's held somewhat of the same meaning, which is to call and to invite, but in particular, it's to call and invite to a meal or a banquet or a dinner, something
Dawat.
we're good at. Yeah, dawat, eating. We're good at eating and making food and stuff like this. Yeah, so no surprises there. Yeah, so it's dawat. It refers to food in some way, shape, or form. But the point is that if you were to ask yourself the question, if you're inviting someone to a dawat to your house, as opposed to a meal, right, just a regular lunch or a dinner, what are the main differences? When you think about it, some of the differences you come across, you'll be like, okay, so there's if it's a dawat, it's a bit more extravagant, it's a bit more lavish, it's maybe a party or a gathering or a wedding party or something. Okay, so it's something a bit more great, it's more grander, it's more important, it's more VIP. So okay, if that's the case, now the question to ask is, how do you conduct yourself when you're inviting someone to a meal to your house or a dawat to your house? Are you aggressive, or do you do it with the best morals, the best conduct, best characteristics, etc., etc., right? And if you genuinely want someone to come, because sometimes when it comes to stuff like this, especially our culture, it's like you have to send auntie so and so a card, but you don't really want them to come, but you just get them the card anyway, just for the parents' sake. But the point is, if you genuinely want someone to come, how would you conduct yourself? You have the best manners, the best conduct. You'll make sure you do everything right.
Humility and welcoming.
Everything. Now, just juxtapose this, compare this to calling to Allah, bro. What's more important, calling someone to a party or calling someone to Allah? And if calling someone to Allah is more important, then how much more do we have to focus on our characteristics and do it in the right way?
Very, very good. Very
because,
good
bro, there's the same reasons why you would offend someone and prevent someone or stop or ensure someone doesn't come to your party or your dinner. The same characteristics that you avoid in that case are the same things you have to avoid in that case when you call to Allah, bro. You're still talking to human beings. They still have emotions and feelings, the same people. So you have to keep
there's nothing wrong with ghira in Islam. There's nothing with having pride in your deen, of course, 100%. But what's happening is, and again, this is my opinion, and people in comments can disagree. You can disagree, Imran. I'm seeing the balance. I'm seeing far too many people. For example, they want to. They think that if I destroy this, let's say Christian, if I destroy his Bible, if I destroy his group or organization, if I take the mickey out of him, if I make memes, hopefully they'll take the shahada and come to Islam. This is the way I look at it. So if I cuss the person, if I attack him, if I rip him apart, destroy him, and show harshness, and a lot of memes are taking place now. Everybody can make memes now, right? And then they think that this is in that destroying. Hopefully they'll come to Islam. And this is one of the, and again, I'm applying. I've seen this in UK because, alhamdulillah, Allah has given me the honor and privilege to be involved in dawah in the UK and in Pakistan and other countries. So these are two of my, playing fields, you can say, So in Pakistan, the same thing, bro. They're just attacking people of, they say secular tabqa and liberal people and who are, confused, and a certain class. A lot of brothers and sisters from, for example, who've learned knowledge, student knowledge, they're attacking them. There's more attacking and there's less inviting. So and they think if I attack them enough, they'll get inspired. That's what's going on.
So do you know the point about ghira? I don't think it so fully applies. Look, it doesn't really apply when you're talking to someone that's ignorant. If someone is ignorant of something, for example, the truth of Islam, and they've heard stupid things, silly things, and they've based their opinion on that, they're ignorant. First inform them. If they're well informed, and they're still behaving that, of course, we have respect and this ghira for our deen and what we believe in and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But most of the time we're engaging with people who are totally ignorant of the truths of these things. So we have to treat them in a way, in the similar way as you, and I don't mean this by any offense, but you have to treat these people in the same way you would treat children in some cases, right? They don't know, they're ignorant, inform them. If they then, after being informed, do the same things, then it's a different story, right?
But hang on, what do you mean different story? Let me pick on that.
Different story. So I'm going to get to that now. I was going to answer that point in the second point, which is that there are things that are, there are ideologies and stuff out there that need to be challenged, no doubt. Yeah, there are people out there that are well informed about Islam, yet they are deliberately misrepresenting, and the leaders, such as examples, atheists or leaders of atheism, such as Richard Dawkins and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Now there may be certain situations, right? Certain instances where you, like I've said before, you have to present yourself a little bit more confident, be more forceful, be more certain, right? And you may need to deconstruct.
But even then, there's certain decorum, isn't there?
Yeah. So for example, I'll give you an example. On my channel on Epistemics,
I was about to say that.
I deal with a lot of the videos on there are deconstructing certain atheist ideologies, right?
Yeah, in a very strong manner, in a very it
has to be with confidence, with clarity. But I have to always keep in mind that I don't come across arrogant and I don't come across aggressive. I have made mistakes. I was corrected and I've changed those things, right? Hopefully I've changed those things. So to the best of my ability at the moment. So the point is, even when we're engaging with these individuals that deliberately they're misrepresenting, and you know that your engagement with them in public is going to be seen by hundreds of thousands of people, probably, if that's the case, then of course you have to be confident, you have to be certain in your approach, you have to deconstruct what they're saying, and you have to present your case, right? Sure. But still, that is no excuse to have bad manners, bad conduct, be aggressive, use bad language, speak down to someone in a very sort of negative, harsh way. No, right? Because if anything, that's going to undermine you, bro. Like it's gonna really paint you in a negative light, right? And we'd have to resort to that. Trust me, confidence, the truth.
Yeah, confidence doesn't mean being harsh. Like people think, if I'm confident, I need to be harsh and attacking and be really like aggressive. But there's a subtle difference. Let's take some more questions, bro. Afnan says, I'm from North Carolina. Okay, mashallah. But bro, Afnan, I hope this is beneficial for you. Sister Ariba is also saying, how would you address someone who says, I will do indirect dawah through my character, praying in front of others and all? Yeah, what do you understand about that, and how would you deal with that?
That's fine. That is an element of dawah, of course, to have good characteristics and to represent the deen. Your character, and I've seen this myself personally, examples of this, where character alone can trigger someone's fitrah. It can. I've seen this happen myself personally. So they're not wrong in doing that, but I think it boils down to the intentions of the person. Why is that person saying that? Some people may be saying that just to avoid having to give dawah directly. Well, if that's the case, then that's,
Well, I've got a real life example story. I've said it in other shows that in my own town of Crawley, many years ago when there was no dawah training or nothing, we used to have a stall in the town centre, and there's one particular individual. He used to come every week, like for months and months. Every week he'll be there. We'll be there Saturday 10 to 1, and he'll come in every week, and he'll have this question, that question on qadar, on science, on Islam, and whatever the brothers. I used to be an observer. I still am an observer. But other brothers, they used to be the forefront and discussing and answer as much as their ability. So it became very heated sometimes. And the brothers are getting frustrated at this guy. Oh God, that guy here he is again. He's going to come every week. Then one day, a raging debate is happening, as usual. But the time for Salah came, Asr, and the town center. So the brother said to this guy, to non-Muslim, "I'll go and pray. I'll be back in a minute." So he waited, and the brothers prayed. They came back. He goes, I want to take the Shahada. And he accepted Islam. And the brother goes, so hold on. All these weeks and months, we were having fierce debates. That didn't convince you. I just prayed. That convinced you. He goes, yeah. And then I think he said, like, the way the fact that you left our conversation and gone to another conversation. And that really inspired something with me. And then he's also the uniformity, the discipline, the Salah. So alhamdulillah, bro, that's a living example of a Salah and character playing a part in opening their fitrah, uncovering.
But I think we should see it in a way where it's comprehensive, inshallah.
I just popped on the screen. I just wanted to add my 2 cents to this because it's a very good question. It's a very good question because it's about that whole indirect dawah type of thing and through the character. So I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and who is better in speech than the one who invites to Allah and does righteousness and says, indeed, I am of the Muslims. So when I've spoke to my teachers about this particular verse, it's something that goes hand in hand. You speaking, you calling to Allah, but at the same time, you represent Islam in your actions as well. Now, some say that is indirect dawah, of course. I mean, but for me, I think they do definitely go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I mean, for like in Newcastle, you may have seen some of the stuff that we've done in Newcastle in Nadeem. I know you guys have seen it before, like a lot of the social initiative works that we've done in the past.
Yeah, amazing.
And the reason why why we do that is not just because, well, first and foremost, is because that's what Islam teaches. It's Islam in action. If you say you're Muslim, do righteousness and put Islam in action. Bring benefit to society. But at the same time, what you'll notice and what you'll find that those actions often open the door to a dawah conversation anyway.
Yes.
So I mean, I say yes, the indirect dawah stuff definitely should be done anyway, especially through your character. Your character should always be on point all the time anyway. Praying in front of others, etc. But the point is that you can always transition those things to a dawah conversation, because look, like I said, they go hand in hand. One who calls to Allah and does righteousness. They go hand in hand. So use both of them.
No, I agree. So you mentioned what you do in Newcastle. I've actually used you guys as an example in my conversations where what struck me is, the brothers.
There's some echo. Sorry, this echo.
That's just you, bro.
Is it me?
That's just Imran.
That's Imran. Okay, Imran, mute yourself, bro. So you brothers dressing up superheroes and going to hospitals, and I've said that to someone, and they just can't get their head around it. What's dressing up and going to see cancer patients? I think. And
sorry, I think the echo's still there. I can still hear Nadeem's echo. You muted.
I'll mute my mic.
Shall we all mute ourselves? Okay, is it still there? The echo? Okay, alhamdulillah, it's gone. Alhamdulillah. So excellent work, and I think those, and I'll do a little plug-in. Go to the IDC website or Facebook, and if you go to their albums, go to their photos, and go scroll down, amazing pictures, really inspiring, and I think you can learn from there. You can learn. Here we go, mashallah. Here we go. Good little plug in there, and support their charity, because I'm not saying it's Sohail's here, but I truly believe in the UK. The Islamic Diversity Center, along with maybe 2-3 other organizations up around the country, one of the leading dawah organizations where they do really wholesome dawah, mashallah, community dawah, and amazing initiatives, very creative. So all those of you watching, check out their Facebook page. You're going to get a lot of ideas, mashallah, lots of ideas, and I'm sure they don't mind you nicking their ideas and stealing it, alhamdulillah.
Bro, just to make a point on that, it is Islamic Diversity Center. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube, etc. But look, the dawah is open for everyone to do. And the thing is, the amazing thing, that the work that we did, a lot of the work that we've done, our work, alhamdulillah, has actually traveled all the way to Hong Kong. When I went to Hong Kong a few years back, the Christian campaign that we did, what is Christian? No, it wasn't Jesus. It was what does Christmas mean to you? And then we used that to transition to talk about Isa alayhi salam, right? That postcard that we made, that the brothers in Hong Kong took that and actually did the same kind of project. So alhamdulillah, it's all from Allah that we, these kind of activities and projects, we share the good that people are doing out there. Definitely.
I'm a big fan, bro.
Jazakallah khair, alhamdulillah.
Mashallah. I've always been, mashallah. So what else we got? We got Sister Noura is asking, what is and I think, Imran, this is for you, yeah? Because I just feel like this question's for you. What is the biggest thing that makes Muslims doubt their religion?
What's the biggest thing that makes Muslims doubt their religion? That's an interesting question. For me personally, I think there's a play between two things here, right? And it's what the scholars have mentioned as well, which is a lack of knowledge on the basics and the fundamentals, and the inclination towards one's desires, and being engaged with fulfilling one's desires, which are not in line with what God has said, what Allah has said. So between those two things, bro, I think the line toes between those two things, and I think it's between those two things that doubts emerge. People move away from Islam, etc. Some people have, just one. Some people have just the other. For most people, it's a combination, somewhat of a combination between the two. And the solution to them is very simple: educate yourselves on the basics, on the fundamentals, and continuously strive to try to recognize that look, the way I see doubts, bro, is I see them. You can see them in two ways. There's the type of doubt which emerges from a genuine question, right? Misunderstanding, not understanding something, right? There's a lack of knowledge, right? You can't really call that a doubt. It's more of a question, right? Like, what's going on here? I don't get it. The solution to that is to inquire and to learn. And when you get the answer, you're satisfied. You move on, right? You don't doubt your whole beliefs based on a limited question that you have based on a certain aspect of Islam. Then there's the other type of doubts which emerge, which are manufactured by us, in some way to justify what we want to do, right? So what happens in many cases, and I've noticed this and I've seen this, is that there's a Muslim, he's engaged in doing certain acts, certain sins, certain things that he's involved in, he can't stop them, right? He's just too much. Now what's happening is, on one hand, he has his belief that it's Islam, he should do this, shouldn't do that. On the other hand, he has his desires, right? Now he's stuck between the two, and he's being pulled between the two. And this causes this dissonance in the person, which you can't maintain for long. Now, there's two options you have in this scenario. Option one is that you strive against your desires and you slowly stop them, and you try to do the best you can to fulfill what Allah has given you, right? That's what we should do, but that's the harder option, right? The easier option of the two, bro, which most people end up doing, the easier of the two is, you know what? I'm just gonna turn away from Islam, and then I could do whatever I want. There's no guilt. There's no guilt. There's no guilt. There's nothing. I just do what I want, fulfill my desires. But it's not easy to say, I'm just going to reject Islam. And in that case, what happens? We manufacture doubts to push ourselves away from Islam. So these aren't genuine doubts or genuine doubts based on genuine questions. These are manufactured doubts to serve a particular purpose, which is to disconnect you from your deen, just so you can end up in a position where you can justify your sins and have no accountability, and there's no guilt. Right? That's what happens in most cases with many young Muslims, is that they fall into this trap of leaning towards this easier route, and they don't even know they're doing it sometimes, right? And you notice that when you talk to them, you answer one of their questions, their doubts, which is supposedly a doubt, and it's not really a doubt, and then they pull out another one and a third one. You see it, they're thinking of trying to find something they can latch onto, which can keep them away from Islam, just so they can carry on doing what they want to do. And this is dangerous. We have to be aware of this. So I think as long as we're aware of this and it's not that we're going to become perfect, but I think those are the two main reasons as to why it happens.
Alhamdulillah. Sister Fatma Wahidi is asking, how do you end a conversation that was not so good because the person start to argue? So maybe start of amicable conversation, and then they start becoming argumentative. How should we end if that was a random conversation? What would the best attitude?
I would say first will be a reminder, like a warning type thing. Yeah, like, okay, look, we're not going to get anywhere if we argue like this. We need to calm down and we need to have a civil discussion. If they continue arguing, just give them another warning, and then they say, look, you're obviously not going to listen to me. You're not in the right state to understand what I'm saying. So let's call it a day for today. Maybe we'll catch up when you're a bit more calm and you move on to someone else. If you know it's not going to go anywhere, you have to just, in a nice way, call it a day, basically.
Another way of looking at it, bro, is from a characteristics angle, is, again, what we touched upon before. You're there calling to Allah. You're there defending Islam. You're there to make Allah's word the highest, right? As soon as, if by them provoking you, as soon as you start defending yourself, I said this, but you said that, but I said this, no, you didn't say. When it gets, in Urdu say tu meme, that kind of thing. That's when I think, and this is what I do, I just end the conversation. I go, you know what, either we discuss later, or okay, thank you, Jazakallah, goodbay.
Because you know where it's going. It's inevitable. It's going to turn into an argument.
And you're going to become egoistic. Your ego is inflated now. It's been bruised. You're defending yourself. You're not defending Allah. That's what happens. So, alhamdulillah. What else we got? MashaAllah. Sister Taslima says,
you're muted. Sahel, you're muted.
I'm saying we've got about 5 minutes. That's what we've got. Alhamdulillah. Well, the show's gone. Alhamdulillah. So we've done about 50 minutes. There was a comment that we missed earlier, Sufyan, regarding the question that we put up. How do you stay sincere? So Sufyan says, try to stay humble in every situation, and completely agree with Imran. Build a strong relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So yeah, that was that. There's also a comment here about arrogance kills the feel and sincerity in dawah.
Yeah, it's true. It does. Subhanallah.
Especially tricky when working in groups and also have an audience. Keep your intentions pure and untainted from vanity is also very important. That's another good point. Alhamdulillah.
I didn't say that, but anyway.
Did you? Okay, I'll let you off then.
Alhamdulillah.
I think that was it.
Just this, I want to read this comment, inshallah, and then we can go towards the end. Sister Taslima says, yeah, this one, the sin of Riya is what I find most scary in group activities. And that's what has kept me from engaging group dawah activities and stuff like that all this while. Because it's much easier to focus on when you're alone. So may Allah aid us all to keep steadfast on the deen and our intentions. So what is Sister Taslima, what are you saying there? Just, you'd rather work on your own, not with a group, with the jama'ah? I think that's what the question is.
Yeah, I think just as a side point on this, I think something to keep in mind is, with sincerity is going to be one of those things always that you can't fully get a grasp on, right? You can't fully say like, this is the action, I'm fully sincere on this, done. It's a done deal, yeah. So that being the case, you have to you should still continue doing the actions, right? Try your best to be sincere, but carry on the actions, because shaitan wants you not to do the action. And if you don't do the action, you've lost out anyway. You know, sincerity only applies when you take action. If you sit there staring at the wall all day, I'm not saying the sister's doing this, but I'm saying if you do that, then you're never going to put yourself in the position where you could potentially gain great reward, right? And get closer to Allah through doing that. So always take the action, but try yourself to stay on top of your sincerity, and try to do the best you can, and keep doing the action, and keep making dua to Allah to make you sincere. Because that's what we're designed to do, bro. We're designed to take action. And I always give this example, bro. If Allah just wanted us to sit there and just to recognize His existence, that's it, yeah, that He exists, then He could have made us a melon, bro, a watermelon that has a brain, right? Literally, yeah. We could have been watermelons, green watermelons with a brain that acknowledge Allah. But He made us human. He gave us limbs. He gave us the ability to move around and do things and engage. He gave us the ability of speech. Why? It's for a reason. It's so we convey. It's so we speak to people. So we share the message with people, bro. You know. So we have to. And look, sincerity should never be a barrier, right? It should simply be a reminder, something we're conscious of, and something that we continuously work on. That, and remind ourselves that is what drives our actions. It should never be a barrier not to do action. Right, we should always keep that in mind, inshallah.
I just want to add to that. I mean, this is one of the things one of my teachers taught me as well. Is, I mean, look, the Sahaba, they would do things in public. And right about my mic being an echo, I can hear it now. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I think the Sahaba would do things in public. So they would go to the Salah. They would go to the Salah and pray in Jama'ah. Okay, but they wouldn't necessarily say, okay, I'm taking these. They wouldn't like think those are the be all and the end all in their actions. A lot of the times they would do things in private or by themselves, because then they know that they were definitely going to be sincere in his actions. But I think Imran makes a really good point that, you know, this is something that Shaitan wants to win with us, or wants to beat us on, and you know, make us stop doing deeds in public. When the Sahaba didn't stop the deeds in public. They would definitely do them both. Would definitely do it also in private as well. But this is something that we don't have to stop. And this is, look, as believers in Allah, this is what happens when Shaitan wants to fight. We're not gonna sit back and let him win. We're gonna stand up and fight, right? So we're gonna be people who, when Shaitan wants to fight with us, we're gonna stand up and also, you know, we don't stand back. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you know. Oh, there's echoes back. Okay, you know that you just reminded me of something. I heard someone, I don't remember where I heard it, but even some of the companions would even do specific actions that would, in a normal situation, be considered showing off. But they would do it with the intention of teaching someone else. So, for example, in the prayer, they may do the prayer and they may slow it down even more and do the actions even more clearly, because they knew someone was watching that may get inspired by that and do the right thing. Right, so can you see how important intention is? Intention can just shift the goalpost for everything, right? So an action that would normally be considered as under the category of showing off now becomes something rewardable, because you're doing it with the intention of helping someone else, or motivating and encouraging someone else. So it's something to just. It's all a game of intention, man. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. We've got a full circle. We started with intention and we end the show on that, mashallah. And there's
so you don't get your way, and I don't get my way either. You wanted to talk about initiation, I wanted to talk about characteristics.
I want this is the topic, bro. And anyway, let's take this offline. The sister, I think Sister Ariba and Sister Zara have got excellent questions. What I will ask you sisters is to keep this for tomorrow, inshallah. So tomorrow's show, keep a hold of this question and we can continue this discussion from tomorrow, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. So, any last words? Any last points?
Close the show, Imran.
Sorry?
Close the show, bro.
No, I think Nadeem's earned that right, bro. MashaAllah. Allah
No,
Mubarak.
what
I'm not
right?
going to jump in, bro. May Allah bless you. I'm going to mute.
Okay, so if we're in, how long do we have, Suhail? Wrapping up? 1 minute. Okay. So look, I think this is a very interesting discussion, and I really hope that the brothers and sisters who are watching, you're probably going to other shows as well. So whatever points you've learned, share with other brothers and sisters who are involved in shows, because right now we're all at home, and right now, because let's say we were doing offline dawah, which is face to face, especially street dawah, I'll probably chat to 2 or 3 people. Now that's not, just 2 or 3 people, and that's it. Now you're online, you're going to be chatting to thousands of people. So now you have to keep a check on your sincerity even more so than ever in Ramadan, in lockdown. So just just remind everyone to keep checking your ikhlas. Do it only for the sake of Allah. Be greedy for good deeds, because this is what we need on the Day of Judgment. This is one of the reasons why I'm involved in dawah. I'm greedy for those good deeds. And don't worry about subscriptions. Don't worry about likes. Don't worry about follows. Seriously, it's not worth it. And that's it for me, inshallah. Imran, last words, bro.
No, Jazakallah khair, bro. I think it's a really good discussion. Hopefully everyone that was listening found it beneficial. We'll be joining you again tomorrow, inshallah, with another show. And may Allah bless you guys, and we will catch up with you soon.
Yeah, see you guys tomorrow, inshallah.
Also, brothers and sisters, please stay tuned. We have our live fundraiser for Islamic Diversity Center coming up next, inshallah. So please stay tuned to that and find out what else is going on for our charity organization here in the northeast of England. On that note, Jazakallah khair, Jazakumullah khairan. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.